Hi, you're listening to She Shield, your one-stop pod for all topics personal safety. I'm your host, Sofia, and my goal is to help educate women and men on concealed carry, martial arts, and all topics self-defense. Today, we have Bubba Almony, the award-winning bodyguard for Muhammad Ali's former wife and the recipient of the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, on the podcast today to talk about his life and experiences. So welcome, Bubba. I would love for you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the pod.
Yes, and firstly, thank you so much for having me on. I do appreciate it. I just want to introduce myself. So, my name is Bubba Almony. As she stated, I'm the bodyguard for Muhammad Ali's former wife and the mother of Muhammad Ali's 4 children, Dr. Khalila Kamachu Ali. And this past December of 2022, I was truly blessed and just so fortunate to be able to receive the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award for over 4,000 hours of community service in my lifetime, as well as leadership excellence across the nation in the United States, received from President Joe Biden. Truly an honor for that. And, I became also the first bodyguard in American history to receive that as well. All the way up to the New Jersey Hall of Fame had recognized, my accomplishment. So just, you can't even put words like an adjective to how powerful that is, and just how grateful, I am to be recognized at the ultimate recognition, the presidential recognition.
Wow. I'll say wow a lot throughout this episode, so just get ready for that. I was joking with a friend the other day that I need to find a new phrase, but I'm just so impressed with you. That is incredible. And you heard of the podcast through Byron, which is really exciting. So I love that, She Shield is starting to talk to individuals in the private security industry. So I'm grateful to have you on. Thank you for coming on as well.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. So to start off, I would just love to hear your career timeline and take as much time as you need. I'm sure it's lengthy, so this time is about you.
Yes. So I started, firstly, martial arts background at about 10 years old. Funny story is, my mom, was pushing me to get into the martial arts. And, at first I didn't want to go. I remember it was a struggle, like for me to get out of the car. I used to cry, because I thought it was like punishment, or like I thought it was going to be an experience where I didn't like. And that just shows us, anything in life, you have to take a risk. You're going to be uncomfortable. And when you get outside of your comfort zone, who would have thought I would have went from that to a 3-time national champion martial artist in sparring, weaponry, and forms. Now, practicing for about 18 years in American Kempo, Taekwondo, and also the study of the ninja. And then my security background, I started at 17 years old. So very young, no experience, just started right at 17. And that was at the Dew Tour, a major BMX concert and skate venue on the beach in Ocean City, Maryland. And it was just like unlike anything I've ever experienced, above protecting people and protecting property, to just discover my passion, purpose, and true divine calling in life at such a young age, and just so quickly of my first experience working security. It was, really just almost like mind-boggling. And then I just kept building my resume, building my training. I found myself working at casinos doing security, casino and racetracks. Also, in the hotel industry, I was a security manager. I had to work my way up, all the way. I started at the pool deck, at the rooftop of this hotel next to a major nightclub called Secrets in Ocean City, Maryland. And, just had to work and prove myself. Like, even with that opportunity, I was calling places because my mom told me, she was like, for you to live in this house, you need to have a job. And, I was calling places, just cold calling them. And I talked to this guy, his name was Steve Manzioni from New York. And, tough New York guy, you could tell over the phone. And I was able to pitch him. Like, I was able to make the relation over the phone just off of my manners. He was like, just off your manners and your respect, I'm going to give you an opportunity that I've never done this before. And, who knows, that opportunity arguably could have changed my life. Look at me now, with the success I've had in this niche and in this industry. Going on to bodyguard all the way up to Muhammad Ali's family. Respectfully decorated with multiple awards, whether it's humanitarian work or in my industry of a bodyguard, martial arts background. So in life, you have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I've learned that, always make the most of every opportunity. I could have went there and I could have, veered to the left, but, I came in there, I was focused. I had work ethic. I had pride in my work. I was about, self-respect, respect for others, the things that martial arts instilled in me, the discipline, and just, knowing how to handle things and learning along the way, being humble, and being coachable, to listen to those above you, that try to show you a better way or to give you their experiences. You have to be a sponge and absorb those things. We don't have all the answers. Even with 11 years in the industry now, I don't know everything. But you have to be obsessed with greatness. You have to be obsessed with wanting to be a better person, wanting to become closer in your faith, whatever that is. Every day. So then, I worked also, probably around 19, at a recreation center in Ocean City, Maryland. I was doing a facility monitor there, which was essentially, set up and take down of events, also doing the security, handling emergencies, coordinating with the emergency communications. With the dispatchers, we had radios that could go right on to emergency communications if we needed police, fire, EMS. I got medically trained, first aid, AED, CPR, all those things that are extremely important, in this field. And just kept working, and I was working many jobs, and finally a friend reached out to me, and just before he had reached out to me, actually, I had met Vinny Guadagnino from the hit show on MTV Jersey Shore, that was very popular and ran for many seasons. While I was at the hotel working, I seen him walking through the parking lot, and I noticed him, and I started walking with him and making sure he was safe. And I said, hey, instead of taking you through the hotel lobby, I'll take you up the steps. Because it was at a time when the club had just let out. It was a lot of people. People were, intoxicated, loud, a little more, still in that party mode. And, so I took him up the stairs, and just off of that, he had tipped me. He ordered for me and the entire security staff a lot of pizzas, and we developed a relationship just off of an act of kindness. An act of kindness can go so far. And, so I would bodyguard him every summer when he would come to the Eastern Shore in Ocean City. And then that's when my friend had reached out, and, he basically said, hey, I'm doing videography and, filming music videos and different things. I would love for you to be my driver. And, I'm being around artists and different people. I feel that if you're doing security, maybe we can work you in. And, he just felt it was a good opportunity. So I went on like a wing and a prayer, I remember, being so frustrated at one point, from working so many jobs. I just remember driving home one day, and I had tears running down my face. And, it's amazing because your breaking point could actually be your breakthrough. God works in mysterious ways. So, eventually I get out there, and one of the first days me being out there, I met Cardi B's music producer, Swift on Demand from Love and Hip Hop New York. And in just minutes of meeting him, right away, it was one of them things. It was where you feel like you met that person before, but it was your first time meeting them, if that makes sense. And, in minutes of meeting him, he says, hey, I want you to work for me. And that same day, I ended up bodyguarding him when he went out to the mall. He did some shopping with him and his girlfriend, and, just ended up becoming close with him. And I met him at the music studio. So I was starting to develop relations, with drivers, SUVs, luxury black SUVs. And, they won't teach us this at Harvard or any fancy university, but life is all about people skills. And it truly matters how you treat people. with people skills, you could sell a service, you could sell a product, you can do anything you want to be in life. That can take you further than an education. It can take you further than a degree. It can take you further than anything in the real with people skills. And, it's truly so important. It's vital. And yeah, so I did that and just started meeting a lot of people, like a lot of celebrities that would go there, a lot of people that were on TV, influencers, different things, and just kept building, building, building. Fast forward a little bit, I shot my first commercial in that area, the tri-state area of New Jersey, and promoted that we have the SUVs, we have drivers, we have security services, private events, bodyguard, whatever it is that a client is looking for, because I wanted to make it a one-stop shop where if, hey, I can offer everything, a client has no reason to go anywhere else. And we're going to surround the client with amazing people, people that are experienced, retired NYPD police officers from the busiest precincts in the world, that are able to be armed in all 50 states and U.S. territories, drivers that go above and beyond. When you land, you're being greeted with, huge plates of cooked food, when you do those things for clients, it just shows we appreciate you. We are here to serve you. We're of service to you. We're here to be leaders. We're here to, give you the best experience that you can have with this service that you're booking. And those take clients from a one-time use to a lifelong use. I've had clients, that have, stuck with me and they won't use anybody else. So I'm truly grateful for that. And it's because of that service and experience you give them. You're more than just keeping somebody safe. They want service. They want, peace of mind. They want comfort. They want trust. They want honesty. They want respect, dedication, commitment, all these things, how your appearance is, how your vehicle is looking, everything, leaving every ingress and egress, covered. And, that was, after the first commercial, I put that out. I think we did close to 1 million views, just on the social media push alone, between Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, just, unbelievable. And, keep fast forwarding. I've worked, with, names that include P. Diddy's children, all 3 of his sons, Muhammad Ali's beloved family, Dr. Khalila Camacho Ali, the former wife, Muhammad Ali Jr., the son of Muhammad Ali, just so many amazing people, models, real famous Harlem Globetrotters, the list goes on and on, respectfully. DeMar J. Smith, who's been on the Ellen DeGeneres show approximately 10 times. And, the 9/11 memorial commemoration in New York City in 2018, and all the way recently to being invited to the White House, and all throughout my journey as well, since 17, I've always made it a point to mentor kids, to be involved with the NAACP, to be involved with nonprofit organizations, to inspire, motivate, empower people, to leave people better than what I found them, and to get involved in community service, to get involved in giving back. That is so important, because at the end of the day, when our name is called, we can't take any of these things with us. We can't take the title. We can't take our vehicle, our home. We can't take none of those physical things with us. At the end of the day, it's what have we done to make this world a better place? What have we inspired people to do? How have we empowered, uplifted people? That's the true tall tale sign of success. Because all the accolades and this and that, they're, trust me, they're great, but you got to have a deeper sense and a deeper purpose than that in life. And so yeah, that's some of it kind of in a quick summary, about my experience and life so far with my industry.
That was incredible to listen to. And yes, you definitely have that down to a perfect timeline. So thank you for sharing that. Your story alone is very encouraging. So I love that you have made that part of your purpose to motivate and inspire. That is awesome to hear. Um, is part of your career also teaching? Do you often teach?
Yeah, so with the
Mhm.
martial arts, I've actually instructed, youth all the way up to, respectfully older people. I've, taught about the importance of mental health. I've taught about, bullying prevention, personal safety, anti-bullying. I've spoken to tens of thousands of kids across the nation about these things. And then the first Saturday of every month, my family manages a gun club. So the first Saturday is a free shoot for kids. I believe it's maybe 14 and under. They shoot for free at the range, and I go there. I teach them about firearm safety. The strict responsibility of handling a firearm. That guns are tool, they're equipment. They're not to be played with. They are lethal, and they have to be handled very cautiously. And just to teach them, like, the different etiquettes and rules to follow with being on a range or handling a firearm, or what to do if they come across one. And so it's very important that knowledge, that kids get that, because accidents do happen, unfortunately, far too often in this country and all over the world. And so yes, I do that, and all the way to also with Muhammad Ali's wife, we've spoken to thousands of kids, whether it be she joins me from a Zoom, or um, she comes in person, talks to the kids about bullying, manners, respect, etiquette, kindness. And not many people know, she was bullied growing up, and also Muhammad Ali, the beloved Muhammad Ali, was bullied. Somebody had stolen his bike when he was young, and this was in Louisville, Kentucky. And a white police officer asked him, he was frustrated. He said, I want to go after the guy. I want to hurt that guy that stole my bike. And the white police officer told him, he said, "Well, can you fight?" He said, "No." And he said, "How about this? How about I teach you how to fight? I teach you how to box. You learn boxing, and then you can go after him." And he said, "Okay." And he learned boxing and never looked back, never worried about the bully, never worried about the person that stole his bike, and became three-time heavyweight champion of the world and the greatest of all time. So, it's powerful, when you go to these schools or these martial arts studios, or speaking to these sports teams, or at churches, and you tell kids these stories, and, somebody that they idolize on such a large scale, that even they were bullied, and they were able to overcome it. Even President Joe Biden was bullied. He had a speech delay, or some type of speech. His speech wasn't up to par, I guess, when he was growing up, and he was bullied because of that. And look at him, at 80 years old now. Who would have thought he's president of the United States? So it just shows, anything is possible. Anything is possible in life. And you know as long as you don't quit, and you work hard every day, and you have a strong faith, and you surround yourself with not just good people but great people, people that love you, that pray for you, that whether you tell them you're going to be the next governor, the next chief of police, the next fire chief, the next president, the next NFL superstar, the next A-list elite celebrity bodyguard, whatever it is you tell them, that they believe in it just as much as you. Those are the type of people you have to be around. Don't settle for anything less. Don't settle for anything less than greatness of yourself. And pray bold prayers, and have big, big, big dreams, and big goals, big aspirations.
Absolutely. Yeah, I honestly feel like I needed to hear that. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Was Muhammad's story something that inspired you to work with him, or was that just something that ended up happening?
I'm glad you asked this, and
Okay.
that's why I'm smiling so much. So Muhammad Ali, for me growing up, like, I had three, like, obviously outside of God, I had three inspirations growing up. It was Dwight Howard. Who was an NBA superstar. He was a center. Also, Ray Lewis. He was an NFL player for the Ravens. And then Muhammad Ali. Those were like my idols. Like, they motivated me. They inspired me. They pushed me to greatness. They were just people you could, like, whatever your day was, if you looked at them, or you got some encouragement from their words, it had such a life impact on you. And at 12 years old, I actually did a school project. I had broken my elbow. I believe it was my right elbow. And I did the project with my left hand, my non-dominant hand. And I did a project on Muhammad Ali. And I dated the project on his birthday of whatever that year was when I was 12 years old. I didn't know that that date on it was his birthday. Fast forward, I end up being the bodyguard for his wife for the last 4 years. And one day she was in town visiting to speak at the schools with me. And she said, basically, she met my mom, and my mom had that book she wanted to show her. And she's like, wow. And she said, I got to keep this book. So, we gifted her the book, of course. And she called me one day, Miss Dr. Ali, and she goes, you won't believe this, Bubba. She said, that date on the book you did, the project, was Muhammad Ali's birthday. And then, like, it's insane, because basically God had a destiny for me at 12 years old. Like, you can't even, that's like something you explain to somebody and they will just be in shock. And for me not to just work with her and protect her and the children, but also to develop the relationship that we have, that is unlike any other relationship that any bodyguard or protector has had respectfully with their principal or their client. For her to join me for interviews, she's endorsed me as the greatest bodyguard ever. She's came to these school visits with me to speak about bullying. She battled with bullying growing up. She used to get locked in the bathroom because she didn't mind homework. And, I believe one day they put like some type of animal in her book bag, and then who would have known too, she would have gone on to marry Muhammad Ali. She would have gone on to visit 100 countries in her lifetime. She became a 9th-degree black belt in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, studied under Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, Steve Saunders, all the martial arts icons. So it just shows you again, if you get through those battles, and you're going to have them in life, there's no such thing as a perfect life, but if you fight through those battles, there's two sides of pain. There's a side of pain where you're being bullied. There's a side of pain where you feel depressed, where you feel hurt, anger, agony. And then there's another side of pain where you feel greatness, where you feel, if you push through those things, you can experience a champion. You can do anything in life, when you push through that. And it's the best feeling of the real on that second side of pain, because what you went through, the feelings you went through, the emotions, the testimonies, the trials. And it's again, it will happen as long as you don't quit.
Absolutely. I completely agree. That is an incredible story. I love that, and I agree. I think that was your destiny, and I agree God does work in mysterious ways.
Right.
Yeah, that must have been just such a surreal moment,
Oh,
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that with the podcast. And I love that you have visited so many schools. I was definitely bullied as a child, and knowing someone like you, with all that you are at this point in life, working with the people you work with, you definitely, you don't need to volunteer, like you could very easily coast and just kind of, continue on your current track record, and yet you decide to do what you do in school. So I'd like to kind of go into that a little bit more. I know on the last one of the last few episodes, we brought up school safety. Is that something that you are passionate about, especially nowadays, with that being such a kind of like important topic? Is that something you would like to speak on?
Absolutely.
Okay.
School safety is very important. And, I'm a firm believer, not only, just as I'm doing, we should be teaching these kids about personal safety, and the teachers about personal safety, and just how they can be safer, not just in school, but their day-to-day life, in their community, on the school bus. when they're visiting a friend's house, a night out on the boardwalk, or a night out at dinner, whatever it may be. We should have armed security in every school. Like in the real, they should have some type of ordinance, law, whatever it may be, something, some type of document signed into law that all schools should have, training regularly. They should have armed, trained security personnel, because at the end of the day, a surveillance camera has never stopped anybody. Like, it's not a physical means of stopping somebody. A camera can't physically come down and just stop you. You need a person. You need a person that is going to step into the line and answer the call. Same with fences and glass doors, and these things can't stop people. They're preventative maintenance, but they're not going to stop somebody. If somebody wants to bad enough, they're going to get through the glass. They're going to get through the fence. They're going to, so you have to do your due diligence. People prey on the weak, so if something looks vulnerable or susceptible, or like that there can be an attack done, they're going to try it. People are bold. We're living in bold times. We're in 2023. Too many of these things have gone on for far too many years and decades for there not to be strong resistance to eradicate this behavior, to eradicate these issues.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you travel to these schools, is that something that you talk to the staff about? Do they ask you questions often?
So they don't ask them too often.
Okay.
I think a problem in our schools is we're sweeping too many things under the rug, like in schools. If a kid's being bullied, or there's something serious happens at the school, you really don't hear about these things. Or you may ask the principals and things of that nature, and bullying's never happened at my school. Well, if you've been the principal there for 10 years and bullying hasn't happened, you're just telling me a lie. You're telling me you're hoping that's what I want to hear. But instead of, you can't fix the problem of something if you're not honest. You have to, it's like if your vehicle needs an oil change and every day you tell your mind it doesn't need an oil change, and then fast forward a month and your engine blows, you knew what the problem was, but you chose to paint a different picture of reality. And, we have to be honest with each other in these times, and we have to let the professionals be the professionals when they need to be. School safety is an issue. We can't just rely on the principals and the teachers. We have to rely on the professionals, the law enforcement, the security. We have to let them be the heroes, be the servants, be the leaders in those times. And it's important, and it's something that I would love to do more. Of bringing a network of guys together and seeing how we can not just stop these for a one-time thing, but eradicate them to where it's just something that you never even have to think of again. It's necessary, and it's absolutely necessary.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. That's a topic I am going to start kind of incorporating into as many episodes as possible where I see fit. Just because I feel like it's kind of like my way of contributing to the cause and like getting ideas out there. I think people need to ask more questions, and especially those that have some sort of influence in the school system. I have two older sisters that work in schools, and one that lives in Denver, Colorado. And it's almost like every week there's a school that's been shut down for some type of either threat or violent action. So
Right.
it's really unfortunate. And I'm glad we're kind of, not just moving past it, we're discussing it. I think that's the least we can do sometimes. So unless you want to share anything else about that, I would love to kind of switch gears and talk about kind of how your life of private security has related to your life as a civilian and maybe like your family life, whatever you'd like to share there. Is there anything you'd like to say?
I just, one thing about me, I sacrifice a lot. I'm 28 years old. I don't have children, no girlfriend, and I'm very focused. Of what I want to be in life, of the type of man I want to be, the type of business operator, the type of bodyguard. There's, it's you know, my thing is the closer I become with God, the better person I'll be. So my relationship and my faith and with God is everything. God is my bodyguard. He's your bodyguard. He's everyone's bodyguard. Um, and that's 24/7, 365. I've been in armored vehicles. I've worn bulletproof vests. All the way up to 11B7 armored vehicles, but none of that will ever keep you safer than a prayer. None of it will ever keep you safer than the armor of God. There's not a security team or an army in the real that can keep you as safe as He can, and that's important. To keep Him first in your life, and just always remind yourself of that. But with me, I'm just, like I said, I'm very committed to what I do, very dedicated, very driven, ambitious, and just I'm always looking for opportunities to how I can help keep something safe, or have an impact on somebody. And that's just kind of me. Like, it's the security field has taught me a lot about critical soft skills, and I know that's something that Byron Rogers is also big on. Critical soft skills, they're everything. A lot of people think bigger, better, faster, stronger, but that's a false reality. In this industry of executive protection and security. It's a growing industry. It's over north of 500 billion, I believe, worldwide. That's what it's a $500 billion industry, and we are in the times of people are every day you see it. Churches, schools, mosques, whatever it may be. People are attacking these places, supermarkets, movie theaters, malls, places that many years back you would have never thought there would have been something to happen of that caliber, or just something so insane to happen, respectfully. And so just I think the biggest thing that security has transitioned into my personal life is just always being alert. I don't have the type of job where when I'm off the clock, or off the job site, I can let my guard down. You always you're with high profile, high net worth, high risk individuals. From time to time, and obviously, if you're keeping them safe, you also have a target on you. So it's very important that if you're in this industry, you take it very serious. Or if you're looking to get into this industry, a lot of people on the outside looking in, they say, great, these guys are, maybe they're making good money, they're around these celebrities, they dress nice, they drive the nice vehicles, or whatever it is that is inspiring them from the outside. But you don't know the investment, you don't know the sacrifices, the tens of thousands of hours that we train in the arts, that we train in our craft, that we try to just be the best that we can be. You strive for perfection in this industry. There's no such thing as being perfect, but we certainly do strive for it. And it's very important. And another thing I would say as well, your words can start a problem, or they can end a problem. Knowing how to speak to people, knowing how to be steps ahead. De-escalation is very important. It's very critical, and just treating people how you want to be treated. Just being humble and having humility, is everything. And that as a person and bodyguard is everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great to know. And I like that you kind of preach what you teach by keeping yourself safe with similar practices. I'm sure a lot of that is, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm sure a lot of that is like situational awareness. And I'm sure like old habits die hard, always kind of like being aware of your environment for your own personal safety. Um, Kind of like, is that true? Is that kind of ingrained in you at this point? Like everywhere you go, kind of like always looking around?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you like, go out with a group of friends, they'll be like, "Hey, you're not doing security right now," but they don't understand. Like, you gotta be sharp, because that's even just my mindset when I go out. Like, all right, I'm looking after the group, I'm looking after the friends, I'm that type of person.
Right.
If somebody's been drinking, they're not going to drive. We're going to get them a Lyft or Uber. We're gonna drive them home. Like, I'm always the responsible, focused person, and we need more people like that in this reel. We need more people that are going to step up and to do those things, because it takes a brave and strong person to be that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know you talked about soft skills and hard skills. As far as hard skills go, have any have any types of training you've been through served the most useful to you in your time in private security?
I would say definitely my martial arts. um with martial arts, you get hand-to-hand combat. You're dealing with weaponry. You're understanding how powerful the mind can be. um
Mhm.
you know your your mind is such a powerful thing. You're learning, that even there's a slogan that Dr. Ali said one time. She was speaking to the martial arts students at a school. She said, a white belt is the most dangerous belt. And she's right. Because as you get up the ladder, now you're a black belt, or you're a third degree, fourth degree, whatever it is. As you advance, you understand the type of strength you have, the power, the how quick you could take somebody down, or how quick you could stop a threat. But as a white belt, you're ready to attack, you're ready to fight. So just so many things. But I would say with the hard skills, my martial arts is something I carry with me every day, my martial arts training. And even if it's not physically going into the hard skills, uh, just those, the core principles of martial arts every day. And I would also say with the soft skills, those, obviously, I think it's hard to compare to say, this one is more important. But the critical soft skills, again, they are so important. Those are what keep you around. Those are what get you the big clients. Those are uh, what impresses people. Those are the ones you got to use in the dangerous environments. Those are the ones you got to use, with the people that have had bad experiences, with the bouncers, with the security, with law enforcement. You have to channel those and use those. Your words could be either a sword, or your words could be a renders of help. So it's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that. And yes, I completely agree with the white belt thing. I started martial arts when I was 13, and I remember just hating sparring with white belts. Even as like a more mature belt, I made it to first degree black belt. Didn't really go further with that because I discovered Muay Thai, and I was like, okay, this is more realistic. I wanted to jump into that, but I did it for 7 years, and I knew it was my responsibility as a more mature belt to train with the kind of beginners. But it was always like, am I going to break my nose today? Like, what's going to happen? So
Right.
but yes, that's so true. I related to that so much. But yeah, we all start somewhere. So that's what I always had to tell myself. So, and as far as what you currently do as, your occupation, as much as you can share, what does that look like for you?
Yeah. So, you know, I spend, a lot of time with Muhammad Ali's former wife, traveling with her, going to different events, outings. We've had dinner recently with the king. We've had, she's invited to events with the Chamber of Commerce, to events with Rolls Royce, all these different happenings always. So just truly an honor for that. I also, mentor children, involved with nonprofit organizations of helping kids break the cycle of bad choices. Of maybe they come from a background of the family are involved in drugs, or they've been abused, neglected, bullied, whatever it may be, and just trying to help them stay on that right path of a bright future, because sometimes those kids that maybe people would overlook or not give the time of day to have the most bright futures, and if they have that person that can put their arm around them, that can spread them, that can give them love and hope, and show them a better way, show them a way out, and that's important. Also recently coached basketball as well for a Christian Academy, for the JV boys basketball team there in Ocean City. That was an experience. It was something new for those kids because the other coach, he's a great guy, he's a nice person, but I come in and I have the bodyguard martial arts background, so I'm very disciplined. I'm very structured. Keeping them focused, giving them a lot of powerful words. I'm praying, because obviously they go to a Christian academy, so we're teaching them about the importance of faith. And so that was it was a challenge, but it was a great opportunity. And just again, working with the kids at the gun ranges. And just trying to I attend church regularly every Sunday if I'm able to, and if I'm not able to make it, I try to watch it online. So being devout in Christianity is very important for me, and just striving for my big goals. I'll be returning back to the White House, I believe, in the middle of July, God willing. So just so many great things. And recently, I think it was this past Sunday, I was at the White House for the Spring Garden tour. So just to be able to soak in that history and, be able to interact with the Secret Service and, to see the Oval Office and see where they land Marine One, the president's helicopter, and to see the Beast, the president's armored limo, and the Rose Garden, the Kitchen Garden. There's also a beehive at the south grounds of the White House, and all these different things. I mean, just to see that, where President Donald Trump has planted trees and where the Bidens have planted trees, and just different things, just unlike anything you've ever experienced. Is just such an amazing moment. And to be there with Muhammad Ali's wife and another gentleman named Fritz Sam and Ron Rainey. And Fritz Sam is a unique man. He's actually a driver. He drives part-time with my company, and he also drives Uber on the side. And last summer, I believe it was August of last summer in Brooklyn, he ran into a burning building. He had a client in the vehicle, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I stop?" And she said, "Sure, no problem." Because, he had just seen everybody there just recording. And it's kind of
Right.
like, the building's on fire. Did they call 911? Is anyone trying to help? Is anyone trying to see if there's an extinguisher nearby? Is there a garden hose? Is there something in some capacity, is there anything that could be done? And so he pulled over, he ran in, and he rescued two people from that burning building. And he still got his client to the airport on time. And he was recognized
Wow.
recently by the American Red Cross, by Mayor, I believe it's Eric Adams in New York City. So just unbelievable thing to do. Talk about the courage behind that. Not even a trained firefighter. He had no fire training, none of that, no equipment, no oxygen mask, no water tank, any of that, and runs in there and does something so heroic. And just again, just so much respect for him for doing that. And yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That is incredible. Yeah, that whole image of the story you just told is even chilling. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And your life just sounds so amazing. And you have so much more to come. That's incredible. What training do you currently do to kind of keep up with your private security job? I don't know how to finish that question.
No problem. So I constantly am working with my firearms. I'm close friends with, I have a network of other bodyguards, whether it be mentors, colleagues, friends. So we are always trying to, give each other encouragement, give each other pointers, tips, whatever that may be. I'm always, refreshing with my martial arts, going through some movements. It's important, meditating, keeping your mind clear so you can be focused. Without focus, it's impossible to be a bodyguard. You have to be, your focus has to be so sharp. They say boredom kills, that maybe 95% of the time you won't have an occurrence or a problem or an attack, but it's that 5% of the time, that window. You could be on a 14-hour day job, and that one or 3 second window where you become complacent or bored or off key is when something catastrophic could happen. So it's very important. Always looking at more trainings of how I could be a better driver, or route plan better, or just different things of that nature. It's important that again, you be obsessed to just keep being better, because when you're better, you can make your client's day more effective, more efficient, and safer.
Absolutely. And is that a big part of the lessons you learn at private security training? Do they kind of talk about the boredom being the silent killer and everything?
Absolutely. And with, I have other mentors and stuff. They've seen people not be focused. And it cost them their life. They've told me about different experiences. So it's everything. If you're not focused, you're putting yourself and others in danger, that you're set to protect, or that may be a part of your detail. So yes, very important.
So I'd like to ask you, how did you get into your anti-bullying work?
Yes. So great. I got into that. Actually, growing up, I had experienced, like abuse. Child abuse. I've experienced, neglect in some form. I didn't have my father in my life. And even as I got older, in the industry, and even sometimes with martial arts instructors, I'd experienced abuse, like where they would put me in like a push-up position, where I had my feet up on a metal chair and had to hold that for like an hour, all the way till I was crying, and was like throwing up, and just my whole body and muscles were trembling and shaking. And so I'd experienced these things. And when I had the chance to do something right, when I had the chance to really get into the personal safety and anti-bullying, I was like, absolutely, I'm going to do it, because that is part of my calling. That is part of, you know no matter what, we don't live in the past, but it's important to know our past. And you know um if without those experiences, who knows, would I have gone on to be a martial artist? Would I have gone on to be a great bodyguard? And that's powerful when I can overcome those things, and I can be a great bodyguard. I can be a national champion martial artist. And when I can share that experience with kids, it's eye opening, and it shows them, like, wow, this person had some struggles. They went through some trials. They went through the tests. But you know what? There's a message in that mess. There's a testimony on the outside of that test. And God never ends on a negative. So I always have that in my mindset. God never ends on a negative. No matter what I'm going through, no matter what is in front of me that might seem like it's a force that's trying to stop me. I always keep that in my mind. And you know, till you know, until I take my last breath on this earth, I will put it in my forefront to be the best person I can be, to speak up against bullying, and to teach and show kids how they can be safer. God, he didn't allow me to be this great bodyguard just to be a great bodyguard. He wants me to spread that knowledge, to help keep people safe, to help keep people sharp, smart, all those things. And it's something that again, I will continue to do.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And when it comes to the help we give these kids in schools, do you think the focus should be kind of on the bullier or the victim, or how do you feel about that?
Yes, I feel like we need to treat both. Um, we have to treat the victim with empathy and sympathy and kindness and love, and to be that protector to them, to be that shoulder they might need to cry on, or be that person they can open up to about what is going on. And you know when you belittle somebody, you're actually being little. Like, a small person belittles people. If you break it down, it's being little. And we have to have more upstanders. We have so many bystanders, but not enough upstanders. When you see something wrong, speak up, get help, intervene. Whatever you can do to be that person that can be that angel. That person could be an angel in disguise, and God is testing you of what you're going to do. You might talk to God in your conversations, and you say you're going to help people, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and right there you have a situation. You're either going to turn your back on it, or you're going to rise to the occasion. There was a viral video many years ago. I think it was like this one community. These kids were about to get in a fight, and this guy, stepped up and said, you know, what's going on? Why are y'all so upset? And he started pointing out people. He's like, that person's not your friend. He's laughing. That person isn't your friend. He's recording. That person isn't your friend. They're antagonizing you. They look at what your own circle of friends is trying to do. These people aren't your friends. They want y'all to fight. If they were your friends, they'd be like, hey man, they'd be trying to hold you back. They would be saying, hey, it's not worth it. If you get in a fight, something bad could happen, or you could go to jail, or this and that. So that was a powerful moment. I remember that it went viral, like especially I think on Twitter and Instagram, and we need more people like that in this world. And also you mentioned like the bullies. Yes, they need help too. They need we need to find the root of what is causing their anger. What is causing them to be frustrated? Are they witnessing domestic violence at home? Are they being bullied themselves? Are they being bullied by their siblings? Are they doing this to act out for attention? So it's important, because if not, you just have you're not fixing the bullying. You're treating the victim, which is great. You absolutely, but you have that bully wreaking havoc still on other people, and now you're going to have more victims. So you have to treat, assess, diagnose it, and just have a zero tolerance for it. Our schools, just stand on zero tolerance programs. Sports, it should be a zero tolerance with any type of serious bullying. Any type of bullying in general, it should be zero tolerance. Like where you're expelled or you're off the team, because at the end of the day, it's going on too long. Bullying.
Absolutely. And do you know of any resources right now that students can use to help their situation if they're being bullied?
Yes. So I have a friend. She is the creator of an app. It's called, I believe, Bullying Buddy. And it's in the App Store. You can find it if you have an iPhone or Android. And there it has, I believe, different information. Also has like an emergency button where you can hit it, and it will notify parents, teachers, administration, law enforcement if it's necessary. It will start recording the situation, audio and visually, so you have evidence, you have proof, you have your incident is documented. That right there, I believe, is going to be a very impactful app, and unlike anything of its kind.
Absolutely. When we discussed this a little bit earlier, I was absolutely blown away by that. I mean, there really is an app for everything. And in this case, something that's been a problem for a really long time, but there's been no way to prove it. Yeah, I remember the Catholic school I went to as a child, they basically made us resolve everything on our own. And I don't think that's very fair. I think kids need guidance. And I remember like going up and reporting, this happening to me and being told to handle it. And it was already so much of a vulnerable act to go up and do that. And then I think of my oldest sister who was slapped on the playground, and the punishment for the other girl at the same Catholic school was for my oldest sister to pinch her in front of the entire class. And that was like my my sister didn't feel right doing it, but that's what they told her to do. It's one of those things that an authority figure was telling her, like, this is how we solve things. There's no conflict resolution. And yeah, it's insane. I even had a kid threaten to bring a gun to school and shoot me. It was crazy. And like thinking back, I think this is the first time I've thought of that, honestly, since that happened. Maybe I've talked about it one other time since, but I think he was given in-school suspension. What's wrong with me? What's the word? Suspension? Is that correct? Can you tell I never got it because I can't even think of the word, but that was their solution. He wasn't sat down with, a guidance counselor and asked, why did you say that kind of thing. Right. So I love that you're proactive in this world that goes unnoticed until there's a shooting or something like that. So thank you for what you do. And thank you for sharing that part of your story today on the podcast.
Yes, you're welcome. You brought up an occurrence. I had worked at a job one time, because I always had side hustles, like even on top of me, with owning a company and stuff, I always had different side hustles. And I worked at this one place, and I experienced like how you experienced, where they would say, I remember the owner, the boss of the company would be like, don't come to me. I don't want to hear about the problems. He's like, you and that person that's problematic, address it. I'm like, I've never heard of that in my life at a workplace. Like,
crazy.
You want me to address the problem with somebody who's displaying narcissistic behaviors and making outlandish threats and stuff like that. Like, there's only one thing that's going to happen. It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
So like, basically, I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to have to defend myself, and I'm going to, so it's like, we're just living in crazy times, with, landlords that shouldn't be landlords, bosses that shouldn't be bosses, people get in these positions. I say that, respectfully, even I've worked at, when I worked at the rec centers, and I remember they called me in the office one time, and they basically like, threatened to fire me because of how much I was giving back to the kids and helping the kids. And like, I was buying kids meals and getting them to and from practice, buying them gym memberships, and like to call me and put me on the hot seat in the office for me doing these great things. Like, those are things you would recognize a person for, or you would say, hey, wow, like, this is amazing what you're doing. And instead, like, it just shows like there's people in positions, like, that don't want to see the kids, around, like, positivity and somebody being a blessing to the kids. Like, here I am not asking for a penny from them and doing those things, like, out of the kindness of my heart. And it just shows you, though, the devil is real, but the devil is also a liar. And if again, like how I said, God never ends on a negative. So just I just always kept that in my mind. And I just pray for people like that, because those are people that are miserable, those are people that are unhappy, those are people that they're taking out something on you. You didn't do anything wrong, but they're just having a bad day, or they're having a unhappy home life, or a bad marriage, or whatever it is, and they're sharing that with you, and you don't you don't want to be on the other end of that. You don't deserve that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you were treated so badly. I mean, it made me kind of think of the fact that people like that see that as problematic, probably would never do something that benefited, someone else like you did, unless there was something in it for them. So they probably just could not fathom that someone would do that out of the kindness of their heart. Right. And I feel like it's very common for people to want to destroy things or stop things they don't understand. So I'm happy to hear that you continued after that. And I know those kids are just so thankful to you, even if they, don't see everything you did.
Yes. Like, one of the parents said, he ended up becoming like a mentor of mine. And, I worked for his company from time to time if he needed some extra help. And, he'd said, like, you know, I basically was with his son so much. He was like, "Man, I thought Bubba was gonna adopt my son." Like
Oh my
like,
goodness. Yeah.
I was so involved in his life, and the young man ended up going to culinary school in college. Went to college, I believe, at Pittsburgh, and now has a great job as a chef. And it just shows, like, wow, like, you know how important a coach or mentor is to somebody, because I also coached him and I mentored the young man. Um, mentors for me were important. There are people that can say, "Hey, this is great," or, "Hey, you know what, Bubba, it's a good idea, but you should change, X, Y, Z," and or they'll say, "Hey, if you want to get this done, you got to do this," or or they'll just straight up tell you, "Hey, that's a bad idea. I don't think you should do that." So um,
Right.
so that's important, to have that guidance and structure and that experience, to be around people that, they've failed more times than we've ever even tried. So they know what they're talking about, that have been on this earth a long time. And, it's why it's like, when Dr. Ali talks to these kids and stuff, she's 73 years old, and she's been to over 100 countries. Imagine what she's learned. She was married to Ali in his boxing prime, when he was stripped of his boxing rights, when he faced 5 years in prison for not going to war to kill innocent people, that went against his religion. Um, just so many trying times. And, she was friends with Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, all the Jacksons, Lou Rawls, Elvis Presley, all these iconic people. So imagine what she's been able to learn, and she's still so sharp. And, when she passes those things down to kids, and, it's like, when Muhammad Ali passed 5 years ago, 1 billion people watched his funeral from around the world. And that just shows,
Oh my
like,
goodness.
how much impact he had, how many people looked up to him, how many people loved him, cared for him. Like, he was a hero. He was a superhero, Muhammad Ali. He was a living Superman, and, we were talking about a guy that went to, countries, like in the 90s, to help set free American prisoners that were taken hostage, and that received the nation's highest civilian honor. Just he had done so much and achieved so much in his lifetime. Even with his battle with Parkinson's, he was still signing autographs and doing meet and greets. And just again, he was like, unlike anything the road has ever experienced.
Wow. I did not know that about him. That is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. And honestly, that was one of the things I did research a little bit before, kind of like his past and his family's past, just so I could be a little bit well versed when we talked about that today. And I did not hear that. So that is so good to know.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. I'm sure it's an honor to be around that. And
Oh yeah.
also, I'm sure get a little bit of the inside scoop. That is
Yeah.
that is wonderful. Yeah. I currently do not have any more questions for you. I'm absolutely blown away, maybe a little stunned from your journey. And I'm so thankful that you got to come on and share that today. Um, is there anything you would like to kind of send the listeners off with before we end the episode for today?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. Absolutely. So, my final words. I just want to say, whoever would be listening or whoever will come across this, whatever your dream is in life, hold on to that, protect it, and never let it go. There will be naysayers. There will be haters. There will be people that want to see normality in your dreams, ambitions, and aspirations. But you have to be strong. You have to be courageous, and you have to step out on a leap of faith, that no matter what odds are against you or what people say about you, think of that as those are small things for the great things that you're going to achieve, and use those as a stepping stool to launch you and propel you to be that rocket fuel, to give you that motivation to go out there, be everything that your heart desires. Your heart and your mind are such powerful things, And when you're a good person, God is in the blessing business. He's always looking to bless somebody, especially great people. So be a good human, be a good person. Know your integrity and your character is intact. And just do that, and you can do anything you want to be in life. And so yes, that's kind of my final words. And be sure to keep up with me. I'm at Bubba Almony across all social media platforms. So definitely keep in touch. And God bless everybody, and may everybody stay safe.
Thank you so much, Bubba. Yes, I will absolutely link all of Bubba's social information in the show notes, which are the notes below the episode. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. This is the most encouraging episode I've had so far, and I look forward to posting your encouraging words as highlights on Instagram. And I know they'll just hit someone at the right time, when they need to hear that. So yes. And I often listen back to the episodes, and I'll sometimes find that I need to hear those things at a certain time in my life. So I know I'll find this again one day, and it will speak to me at that point in my life. So yes, thank you so much. If you're interested in seeing exclusive video content for today's episode, you can become a Patreon. You'll receive a thank you note and podcast stickers along with more exclusive content. Visit She Shield on Instagram and TikTok for show updates, pictures of our guest speakers, and podcast highlights. A thank you to Sagetta Gear, our official sponsor of She Shield. For concealed carry gear and duty gear, you can use code SheShield10 for 10% off your Sagetta Gear order and to support the pod. All resources will be mentioned in the show notes, which are the notes below the episode title. If you or anyone is struggling with a hard mental time in their life, mental crisis, or anything like that, Hold My Guns is an organization that will actually hold your firearms for you in a critical time, or even just a piece of your firearm that is essential to the firearm itself. So if you're interested in Hold My Guns information, that will be in the show notes as well. If you like the pod, you can like and help by liking, subscribing, and leaving a review. Thank you for listening. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay vigilant.